Today, the Perth Mint, Australia's largest gold refiner, announced plans for the development of a cryptocurrency backed by physical gold. They are joining basically a race now, and there's at least a dozen competitors who are trying to get into this physical gold backed cryptocurrency. Why do you think this is occurring? Now, obviously, we know it's extremely well documented about the paper gold price manipulation. Jeffrey Christian admitted under oath, I believe in 2010 or 11, at a CFTC hearing around here in Washington, D.C. He said that there's, I think, 100 paper futures contracts for every real ounce of physical gold at the COMEX or CRIMEX. And so, because of that, there hasn't been any real price discovery in gold or silver for decades. It's been very difficult. The gold price has been basically managed. The gold price manipulation, as Gold Antitrust Action Committee GATA has said, in my opinion, gold price manipulation, whether in the past, the London Gold Pool, or even a gold standard, is a form of a price control. Although even on a gold standard or a bimetallic standard, at least the purchasing power of your currency is not being destroyed. And governments are not, doing a wealth transfer and taking away your purchasing power, the value of your labor. And so basically, in addition to Perth Mint, there's a bunch of other competitors trying to do this. We have Andrew Maguire months ago who announced that he was coming up with this bullion coin he was backing. And I think he was claiming at one point there was going to be 400 tons of physical gold, some pretty high number that normally a central bank would buy. But it didn't obviously affect the price. And so I'll attach links to this talking about it, but it sounds at least interesting. Rick Rule of Sprott has also did an interview recently, talked about how Sprott is working on a physical gold-backed cryptocurrency. I think with the ICX exchange, which those guys are famous from Michael Lewis's Flash Boys book about trying to stop, spoofing and high-frequency trading, algorithm manipulation of stocks and dark pools and things like that. So they're working on it too. In addition to that, we have Anthony Blanchard of Blanchard Gold, which is a famous physical gold bullion dealer for decades. He launched, I think, 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, actually. He launched Hayek Coin, but I think it's still in development, at least according to this article here. This article, I'll attach a link to this, was released in December, only about a month ago. And this article says that Anthem Gold, their IAC coin is still in development, Bullion coin is still in development. And overall, there's about a dozen different coins at different cryptocurrency coins at different stages of development that will have some type of partial or full gold backing. So this is very interesting. Obviously, this is not going to validate cryptocurrency. I think this is an attempt to free up the gold price. And instead of the paper games that are played on the LBMA, on the London Bullion Metals Association, where either over the counter or on the COMEX, which is in New York, which is where paper gold and silver futures contracts has changed. I think there's an attempt to try to get more price discovery and use cryptocurrency to prevent all these extra derivatives, all these extra paper futures contracts that leverage up the gold price and allow the gold price to easily be manipulated. From a free market perspective, I think this is good that a lot of these different entities and companies are trying to do this. I'm just not sure how much it's going to help. But as someone who's an Austrian School of Free Market libertarian, I'm in favor of competition and entrepreneurship and free markets. And so let's see, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe a couple of these will actually stick and maybe they will increase demand for physical gold. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm just highly skeptical because it's in the best interest of central banks and governments to manipulate the gold price too high, doctor up the economic statistics and the inflation numbers. And that allows them to keep borrowing and spending. And the gold price, if the gold price was allowed to go to a free market gold price, it would be a lot higher. And then that would send a signal to interest rates, and that would send a signal to the bond market and governments. Then that would prevent them from going on these crazy, Keynesian central planning, debt-fueled spending binges, which pretty much every major government, whether it's China, Japan, Europe, or the United States, has been doing for a while now. So what do you guys think about these gold-backed cryptocurrencies? Have you actually bought any of them? It seems that there's a lot of different ones competing for this, so it'll be interesting to see. But there's a lot of big, well-respected bullion dealers or people in the gold community who are involved in these different types of projects, but really they haven't consolidated things, so everyone's trying to do their own thing. But I'm just skeptical about whether or not these can actually, gold-backed cryptocurrencies can actually make a dent in the gold paper price manipulation. Now, that doesn't mean I think the gold price and silver paper price manipulation is going to continue at, low gold and silver prices indefinitely. As I've explained in previous interviews, that it really can't. It's a form of a price control, especially for silver. If the manipulation could hold permanently, they would have capped gold way below 1,000, and they would have capped silver, at $10 or less. And then they would have still gotten access to the physical metal. And that's just not really possible. Can't do it. There just wouldn't be enough metal, and the price would have to rise, or there would eventually be shortages of potentially both metals. Because, there is the gold stocks to flow argument, and there is a lot of above ground gold, but a lot of that gold is not for sale especially at current bullion prices, but especially even at higher gold prices. And the other thing about gold that most people don't know is, if you read economic textbooks and study other things about gold, gold is considered basically a Giffen good. So a lot of people in a lot of cultures, when the gold price actually goes higher, and this is partially probably why there is so much manipulation, paper price manipulation of gold and silver, is that when the gold price actually goes higher, more people actually want to buy it. It actually increases demand. Now, you have certain cultures like India and China and maybe Vietnam and some other Asian cultures that pretty much like to buy gold for weddings and Chinese New Year and anniversaries and birthdays and things like that. But in a lot of other cultures, gold is considered a Giffen good, which means that the higher in price it goes, the more demand for it. Okay, well, that's it for this short little video. Just want some feedback then on what you guys think about gold-backed cryptocurrency. It's an interesting idea. It's just, I don't know if any of these is actually going to make a dent in the paper gold price. I think the more important thing is that the mine supply is not going to be replaced at the current metals prices. So I think that's why the gold and silver price is going to have to move higher in the near future, and why the new price floors for the gold cartel in their managed retreat will have to be $1,400 to $1,600 gold minimum in the next couple years, and $25 to $30 an ounce silver minimum in the next couple years. Notice, guys, how the copper price, remember my argument that the copper price was moved higher starting in January 2016. There was a huge divergence between copper and silver. The copper price has started to come down a lot. So maybe if we're lucky as silver holders, that copper price coming down a lot will lead to less investment in copper mines with a lot of silver byproduct, and potential mine closures for marginal copper mines that are higher cost, higher capex, that have a lot of gold and silver byproduct. Okay, that's it for now, guys. Bye. Do you work out routinely and eat healthy almost all the time? If you eat paleo or vegan or work out routinely, you may be eligible to save up to 33% off on your life insurance thanks to Health IQ. Health IQ is a venture capital-backed, big data technology life insurance company that offers customers life insurance at special rates by using the latest technologies. For more information, please go to healthiq.com/WS4MS. That's healthiq.com/WS4MS.